the part 2 of this video. Remember, don't forget, in the part 1 of this video, I forgot to tell you, immediately you start up your design, you save. Mainly you have imported your floor plan and you've done what you're supposed to do on the floor plan. You save, go to file, go to save. This is the file you save. Just type in the name, whatever you want to save it with, then save. I've saved already to avoid loss of your document in case your system shuts down. Now the next thing I forgot to tell you is when you open your interface after importing or even before importing, go to this customize, go to unit setup, so that I already didn't do it because mine is already in millimeters, and my AutoCAD file, this document you are working on too, is already in millimeters too. Let me show you. It's already in millimeters. Now make sure you have the same unit here as you have in your CAD file, in my case AutoCAD. So if you're not using millimeter, you can just drop down and choose whatever you're using. Now after you set up this, go to system unit setup. Now make sure that 1 unit is equals to 1 millimeter, or any unit you are using. Go here, choose the unit you are using, and 1 is equals to 1. That's all. Then after you set it, you press OK. After you set it, you press OK. Mine, everything is already set like that. So now at this point, remember, let me unhide everything. We have built the walls, both the internal and the external walls. Now what next do I want to do? It's remaining the sit out, the column, and then the steps from the plan. From the plan now, the only thing that's remaining for me to build now is this sit out. Remember to bring this out if it doesn't come out originally. Now I select the balcony. I want to build it to the height I want it to be. Now if you check, this is what we will actualize at the end of the day. This is what you are going to get at the end of the day. Now if you check, you see that the sit out did not get to the level of the door. That is, it didn't get to the level of the door. That is, this building have 2 steps. You know why they are building? It's just good to normally drop your sit out down and then you step up while you enter into the building, or you step up and then you step down into the building. Either one. So in my case, I normally prefer to step up, like from here I step up into the building. So since already you know that the height of our DPC for the general building is 750, the height of our DPC is 750. So the height of our DPC is 750 now. So how do you do it? Now we want this sit out, this balcony, to be 1 block lower than the level of the general building. So since we have 3 blocks, which is 750, now we'll subtract 1, which is 250, then we'll have 500. So how do we build this one now? There are 2 methods we can build this, but remember, I'm just going straight. I'm showing you the simpler ones. And note that this software is flexible. You can achieve the same result through different means. So I'll just use the shell command here for this particular one. I can still choose to build it the way I built these walls, or I use the shell command since I don't have any other levels within this place. So I just click on this, then you go to modify. Go to modify. Now you see modifier list here. To click on that arrow to drop down the menu. Now we're looking for shell command. This is how you do shell command. Remember, as I'm teaching you, as we're working on this drawing, you're learning these commands. So just once you're here, you can use your ruler to roll down to shell, or you can just press S on your keyboard, the first letter of the command you're looking for. Just press it until you see shell. Now I've pressed S now and I've seen shell, so I click on shell. Now what next do I want to do? Now this is inner amount. Remember, let's say we go to the front view of this drawing now. Remember, this is the shell, what we want to show, the balcony. If we say inner command, inner amount, let's say the 500, let's use inner amount of 500. You see that this thing went in, the shell went in, but then we want it to go up. So we'll go for outer amount. Outer amount, remember 500, that is what we want to do. Now we'll click. Now our balcony has built. Our balcony has built. That is 2 blocks now. So that when you get to this door, you step up. That is what I want. You can want something else, then you do whatever you want. So after you shell, remember, don't go out of this place. Right click, place your mouse on shell, right click and say collapse to. Right click again and then select editable poly. You see, anything I do, I make sure I go back to editable poly because that is the best way. You can edit the poly in different ways. You can do a lot of things to it. You can accept many commands. But when you leave it as mesh, it might not accept some commands. So I'll make sure I go back to poly at the end of the day. Now if you see, our balconies has been built, all of them, because we attached all of them together. Now what is the next thing to do? If you go to the top view of this drawing, the only thing remaining now is this column. This is a column. How do I know? This is the floor plan of this drawing we are working on now. This is the plan in my AutoCAD. So this is a column, this is a column, then this is the step. Now this is a beam. This is a beam connecting this column to this column, another beam connecting this column to this wall and to this wall. So the only thing remaining for me to do now is to work on this, the beams, the column, then the steps. That is all. So I choose to work on the column first. If you check, you see that this column is 3-stepped column. From the 3D, you see already we have step 1, step 2, and then step 3 for this column. So you go back. Now you select the floor plan, you isolate it. I want only the floor plan to be here while I do my thing. You know already now we have heights. We have different heights here. So if I leave these heights and I'm trying to draw what I want to draw, I might end up having issues with what I'm drawing. So all I need to do is I'll click on my floor plan, which is what I want. Now I isolate it, click here, only it. Anything you click here and isolate, every other thing will disappear. You see? So I'll just click on my floor plan, isolate it. I've just taught you how to isolate, so we'll be learning. Now you go to top view again. Remember, sometimes when you change views between top, bottom, and then you're not seeing your drawing, as if your drawing is lost, just go here. This says zoom extent for all selected. If that's your plan is selected, you can just say zoom all extent for all selected. If it's not selected, use here. You see, so we have 2 commands here: zoom extent selected, then zoom extent all. So in case you don't know where your drawing is, you're looking for it, just go here, click this, your drawing will come back to the center. Now how do we do this? We'll go here, we'll go to our line command or box or rectangle. You can use any of them. I can use line command for this, I can use rectangular command, anyone you fit that is faster. Here this is a rectangular read, so of course rectangular command will be faster. So you just take it, then remember, keep your snap on when you need it. We need it to snap here. Remember how to do the rectangle command. You left click and drag to the end point, then you release it. If you check your layers column, you see that rectangle 6 has been built. Now we need this one too. Rectangle 7 has been built. Then we need this smaller inner one too. Rectangle 8 has been built. So these 3 now are here. Now in case you're not seeing them, it's confusing you, I can just select this and hide it. Now these are the 3 things I have just created now. Now in case the color you're seeing, remember, if you click on this, I've shown you before, if you click on this, you just go to this menu here under this plus. Now this create, you will see the color this thing is getting. In case you don't like the color, maybe it's not visible enough, just come here, choose another color that is visible enough for you. So what do we do now? We convert all these things to editable poly. I can just select all of them at once and say, right click anywhere, go to convert to editable poly. So these three, this rectangle, 8, 6, 7, and 8 now has been converted. You see? Now, the next thing I want to do is to build them, give them the height that they need. If you look here, you see that the first one is of this height. This is like 2 blocks above the level of this sit out. Now, we'll go here, we'll click on this. Remember, this is the bigger one, which is this one, So now, we'll go back here. Now, we'll have to build this. The level of the sit out already is 500. You know, the level of the sit out is already 500. So, we want it to be 2 blocks above the level of that sit out. So, 2 blocks is 250 plus 250, which is 500. Add it to the other 500, we'll have 1000. So, we want to shell this to 1000. How do we do it? You click it. Remember how to do the shell command. You go to modify, then go to modifier list, drop down the menu, left click on it to drop down the menu. Now look for shell, just type S on your keyboard until you see shell. This is shell. Now remember, you want to build it outer. Go to front view. Want to build it outer, want to build it up. This is already 500 that I was here before. So want to build it up. So what we need to go to outer, and it's 1000. So type in 1000 and then we'll click anywhere on the screen. Now this has built now to 1000. Now remember, you can click on this, go back here, right click and collapse, right click again, and then change to editable poly so that you can make changes to it. Now that you have done this, go back to your top view. Now the next thing to work on, as this thing is now, see, you're not seeing the other parts, the other editable poly that are inside. If I want to see inside this thing, I can just go to edit face, edit. I can just go to here and then go to wireframe. See what I did? I already show you what these things does. I just choose here and I go to wireframe, and then it will show me what is inside of it. I'll just be seeing the lines. Now this is what I need. I need this one. This is rectangle 7. Now if you select it, go to here and see what you are doing. If this will confuse you, rename them so that you don't get confused. Click this. You can call it pillar base. Select this. You can call it second step. You can call it second pillar step. Now select this. You can call it third or final pillar step. You can say final pillar step. Anything, you can rename it to anything. Me, I don't rename them. I'm not learning again. But then you that is learning, you can do it so that it will be easy for you. So that if you come here, you know exactly what you're selecting. Now we need this second step. So even if, let's say, my wireframe is not on, I can come here and select my second step. Now it will be selected. Now if you check here, now you see that at least this went to the level of the lintel. At least this went to the level of the lintel. But then you can just give this any height and then take it up later on your drawing. I will show you how, so that you don't start doing too much calculations here. So I can just select this already. I go to my modify, I go to modifier list, then I look for shell, then I select shell. Then I can say, since this one's already 1000, I can just move this one to 2000. I can change it later if I want. So once it's outer, remember it's outer that we need. Go to front to see what you're doing. 2000. Then I come here, I collapse it. I come here, I make it double poly. Now I need to move this up. Now see, you just selected this thing. See the move command here. Any command that is on here, that is what this will do. So you have selected this. At this point you cannot move it except you select move command. If you want to rotate it, you select rotate command. If you want to scale it, you select scale command. So we want to do move command for now. So we are in moving. I already told you how to move. Just place your cursor on top of the direction you want to go. I want to go X direction. I want to go Y direction, sorry. Just place my mouse there. I left click, hold and drag, and then place it where I need it. That is it about this. Now, what next I want to do is, remember, I can always edit this thing. How do I do it? I can always click on this, go to selection in case the chart is closed. Can always go to selection, select vertex. Can always select vertex. Once I select vertex, you see these are the vertex. Now I can come here and select the vertex. Once I select this vertex, then I can move this thing to anywhere I want it. Hope you're seeing now. I can move it up and down. I can increase or reduce it. So let's go back to what we have before. Good. So the next thing to do is, and remember, don't forget, if you select anything here among this, anything in this box, before you have to undo them, you go back and select that thing again so that to undo. Without that, you cannot do anything again on your screen. Now, what next do I want to do? I want to build the final pillar step. The final pillar step. Now, I select the final pillar step, then I go to modify. I go to modify it. I go to shell. I go to shell. Now, this is shell. Outer amount. Already, if you look here, you see that this is small. So I can just say, let me give it 3 courses for now. Let's see, that is 750. Let me just give it 3 courses. At the end of the day, I can now adjust it to whatever it is. Now I right click, I collapse, I right click, I put for the table poly, then I move. You make sure you place your mouse there. You can see your cursor now. This is my cursor. Now once it gets to the arrow in the direction you want, you see what it will change to. Now I can now move it up. I can now move it up. Remember, if I want this to snap any point for me, then I have to put my snap on. Then I can now go and place it here. Now this is this. So what do I do next to avoid any mistake? I attach these 3 things together before I now adjust them to their different heights. How do you do that? All these things are editable poly already. So I just click any of them. Then I go to edit geometry. Edit geometry. That's where you see the attach command. Now this is attach. I click on attach. Then I click on the things I want to attach to it. You can see once you attach them together, their color becomes the same. Now I've attached these 3 things together. If you look here, you see that thing is already looking like this. Just that there are other things we'll do to it later. So we'll go back to where we are. Now can choose to put back everything on. Can say unhide all. Go to unhide all. Everything is now unhidden. Now remember, I said I want this one, this pillar base. I want this pillar base to be at the level 2 blocks above this place. So it's already there. Then I said I want this one, the second one, to stop at the lintel level. If you look, this is the lintel level. This is the lintel level from our levels. Now this is the lintel level. That is this line. So how do I do it? Select this pillar. Now go to modify. Make sure you are on the modify button here. Then go to selection. Now select vertex. If you select vertex, you see that at every point we have this. See this red? This are the vertexes. So anyone I choose now, I can move it from there. Now, as I've selected the vertex, now I want the top of this second pillar now to be at the same level as the lintel. What do? I select this. Only that particular one I need to adjust. Now I make sure my snap is on, then I move. You see what I'm doing now? You move till you get to that height. Make sure your snap is on. It's snapping. Now once I snap the lintel level, I leave it. I see now. Now if you look here, you will see that this now is at the lintel level. Now for the third one, depending on what you want to achieve, let's look at this drawing now. If you look here now, you will see that this beam you're seeing here, this is at least say 500. This should be at least 500. It's 2 courses, at least 2 courses. Now we'll go back here. Now remember, want the beam to be 500, right? So how do you do it? We'll go here, we'll go to rectangle. Remember, there's no dimensioning tool in this software 3ds Max. So when you want to get a dimension, a particular dimension, you just use rectangle to get it. That is what I normally do. Now I'll just put this off first. I just arbitrarily draw a rectangle. Now I'll go to modify, then I will go here and make it 500 by 500, both the length and the width, so that I achieve what I want to achieve. So after I've done this, now then I bring it down here, I place it here. I see now, this is already the top of the beam. Now I want this beam to drop 500 down, right? Now we are here, this is the beam, this is 500. Now we'll check, see if this is at that point. If it's not at that point, all you need to do is select this pillar again, go to selection, open selection, select vertex, select this point that you want to move. Now are you getting? Then move it to any point you want it to be. Put on your snap if you have any particular point to snap. At this point you want to snap this 500, so I just come here and I snap the bottom of this 500. Then I'm done with this. Anything you're done with, you remove it from the scene to avoid confusion. I'm done with this, I don't need it again. Then I just click on it and I press delete on my button. I've deleted it now. So what is next to do? If you look very well, if you go to top and look at the plan, you will see that this pillar is also here. They are of the same dimension. If they were not of the same dimension, then I come here and create another one. But now they are of the same dimension. If you look at the plan, you see they are of the same dimension. This is 1000. That is the external, the biggest one, and this also is 1000, the biggest one. Come this way, this is 750 and this is 750, so they are the same. So I go back here, I just need to copy this to this point. Now in doing that, what do I do? How do I do it? Now I'll just have to select this and then select the plan. Now this is now the pillar, this is now the pillar, and let me just make it pillar. Now this is now the pillar. Are you getting? Now everything we need now is just this pillar and then the floor plan. Are you getting? I can come here, select the pillar, hold control, select the floor plan. Two of them will be selected, then I isolate. Every other thing will go apart from the two things I just selected. Now don't forget. Now that I'm here, I want this to be here. How do I do this now? You know, first I've talked about the move command. Now let me do it again. Before you move, the first thing you do is you introduce the movement pattern, like the axis you want to move on, whether you want to move on X axis or on Y axis. Now if you want to copy, I already showed you. Once you want to copy, just hold the shift and then implement the move command. You copy. Now let's copy this. Let's copy this now in any direction at all. Just want to copy it and place it here. Now let's copy first. I'll hold down my shift button on the keyboard, then I'll click and hold on this on any point. Once I snap either here or here or here, now I hold down my shift and now click, hold and drag. Now this menu comes up. Remember to use copy unless you want to instance, unless you want any changes you're making here to also affect here, then you instance. If not, just copy. Now at this point, if you look at this thing, you see that they are the same thing. Both the height, they are just the same thing. So what do I just do? I just say instance. You can still copy if you want and attach them later, but I want to instance them in case there are any changes I'm making later. I will not have to do it in two places again. So once you instance, this is one copy and this is one copy, then you say okay. You see, you now have two pillars. Remember, we instanced these pillars. Now let me show you what instance does again. I've shown you before. Let me show you again. If you select this pillar and then let's say we want to move the vertex for some reason, you will see this next one, this is an instance, is to also replicate whatever we are doing. Remember, this is undo, redo, and then Control Z is also undo, Control Y is redo. So now the next thing to do is to move this one to this point. How do I do it? I select the one I want to move to that point. Now, for easier understanding, now I want to use this point as my reference. I want to use this point here. I want to use here as my reference so that if I carry here and place it here, we will not have issues. Everything will be fine. So how do I do it? First, I need to move this my cursor to this point. I've shown you how to do it. Just click on that object you want, go to hierarchy, click on affect pivot only. So this pivot is the only thing that's affected now. Put on your snap, then come here, move this to this point, move this to that point you want to use as your reference. I want to use it as my reference now it is there. Once it's there, click on that affect pivot again. Remember, anything you select here, after you do what you want to do with it, click on it again so that it will unselect. Now that we have done that, I'll select this and then I'll implement the move command. Make sure the move is on. Now I don't want to move on X axis, I don't want to move on Y axis. Also, I want to move freely, so I have to select here. This place indicates the 3 axis. If I go here, I'm selecting the 3 axis, so I'll just go here, then come and place this in here. I'm using this point as a reference so that I will also place it here. You see, so anywhere I place this, it will use the reference point to hold. So I will go there. Let me up it so you see what I'm doing very well. So I just come here, carry this and place it here. It's in position. You can see this is this. So now we have built these 2 columns. Now the next thing to build is these steps. Now I can try to hide everything again so I see what I'm doing. Now I'm seeing everything that I'm doing now. Now the next thing to do is to build the steps. How do you do that? Just using some series of shell command, you get this step. Now I'll click on the plan and I isolate it. I just want to work on it. I don't need any disturbance from anything else. I go to top. These steps, this is a rectangle, this is a rectangle. So I can try to create 3 rectangles, or I can try to create one and copy. Now I go to rectangle. I make sure my snap is on because I want to have definitive points. So I use this point now for my first rectangle. I use this one for my second rectangle. I use this one for my third rectangle. You have different ways you can create these steps, but I'll show you the faster one as long as you know the heights of your steps. Now after you're done increasing this, you click on the rectangle command. No, you right click and then the rectangle command goes. Now we are here. Can choose to hide this, can choose to click on this and say hide selection, then so I can see my 3 steps. I can choose to leave it as it is. I already know the rectangles I created. This is the steps I created. Can just say this is step 1, step 2, step 3, whatever. Now it's time to shell. Now I can decide to shell these things into their different heights, and with that I've achieved my step. What do I mean? If you unhide everything now, you know that the height of this is 500. The height of this is 500. If you can remember, the height of this is 5. If you want to confirm you have forgotten the height, I can just select it and hide on unhide. Then I will use rectangle to check the height. How do I do it? Make sure your snap is selected. Now I just snap the end of here. I click and drag and I snap the other end. Then I go to modify. Then I'll check. See that the width, this is from here to here, is 7050. Now the length is 499.9, and that's 500. So the height of this triangle now is high. That means the height of this is 500. So I delete this. I'm done with it. This is 500. and then we have 3 steps, and want to achieve 500 with 3 steps. How do you go about it? Now you can choose to go with 150, which is the standard height, that is 6 inches. If we go with the first 150, that means at the second step we're already at the height of 300. Then at the third step we're at the height of 450. Then you have that more 50 to climb if you choose to. If you don't want, you can just go to your calculator. I normally leave my calculator on as I'm doing this. I have 500, and maybe I want the step to be equal. I have 500 and I want to divide it by 3. I want to know what I'll have. This is what I have: 166.7. 166.7. So I can just use this so that everything is equal here. Now I select the first rectangle. Remember, if the plan starts interfering with what you want to select, you can hide it. You can just select the plan, right click and hide it. Now I'm seeing only the steps. So the first step, I convert all of them to editable poly anyway. You can do it one, but I can do it together. So why not do it together than waste time? Now I select the 3 of them, I right click, I go to convert to editable poly. Now the 3 of these are the editable polys. Now I select the first one. Remember, if you're not using this, put it off at the moment so you don't mistakenly move what you are doing. Just put it off. And as you're working, be watchful so that you have not mistakenly moved something out of position without knowing. Now I select this step. Now I go to modify. Remember, I go to modifier list, I go to shell, then I shell it to, this is outer amount, to 166.67. remember, then I click it. Now this is my first step. Now the second step is this height times 2. Remember, the second step is 166.7 times 2. Now I go to my calculator and I confirm this times 2, that is 333.33. Now I'll click on this, go to modifier list and go to shell. Now once I get to shell, I'll convert this to 333.33 like they said. Now this is the second step. Now this is the third step. The third step is 500, like we have done. You go here, you check the first thing, that is 166. Sorry, I've forgotten this. We did 500 divided by 3, that's 166.67. so this is it, then times 3, that is 500. So I'll just select this other step. Remember, if you're not seeing what you're doing, or beat, then till you see what you're doing. Then when you get there, you select this third one, then go to modify, go to modifier list, go to shell and outer amount 500, and then remember to collapse them. Editable poly, collapse this, make it editable poly, right click, collapse, right click again, editable poly. Now these are my steps and I want them together. So what I will do is I attach the 3 of them. I select any one of it, I go to edit geometry, under modify, I go to edit geometry, you see attach here, click on attach, then you select the other 2 steps. Now you click on attach again to deselect that command. Now my step has been created. What do? I just click on this as a beginner and I write step, or step, whatever. Okay, let me write steps. Now I click here. So this is already steps. You see it. You can put it on and off. This is my pillar 1. This is the other pillar. This is internal wall, balcony. So I don't need this one. Now let me hide it. So at this point, now I've created everything that is on the ground on the plan. Or hide all. You see this thing moved now. I just undo it. So you can mistakenly move whatever, you can mistakenly move it, just undo it immediately. So you should be very observant. Now if you come here, you see that I've created everything here now, apart from the beam. Go to the plan, let me show you. Apart from this beam, this thing is showing that this is up, this is on the upper part that's close to the parapet, to the roof, not on the ground. So the only thing remaining for me to create now is these beams. Now I've created everything else, then this one as well, this one as well, this one as well. That's the only thing that's remaining for me to create now on this drawing. How do I do that? You go back into your here. Now I want to first of all get the beams at this level before I take them up to the final level. So I hide everything else, I just isolate the plan so I can do what I want to do. I go to create, then I go to shapes, I go to line, then my snap should be on, then I snap here. Just hold, once you're going in straight lines, hold your shift key, so in case there is any discrepancy in your plan, it will not affect what you're doing. Unless you are going in curved line, then you can maintain anything you want to do. Close, then immediately right click and convert to editable poly. So you're seeing it already. Now you repeat the same thing for this beam. I hold my shift so that my auto is on. I'm only moving in 0, 90, 180 degrees. Then I go back to do the same thing, convert to editable poly. Remember, I've been telling you about attach command. You can also detach what you have attached. Let me show you with this. This is the detach command that I'm showing you now. Remember, I can select this line and go to modify, then go to edit geometry, then say attach, then I come here and I attach this. Now two of them, I've attached the two of them. Now I can choose to detach them again. I just have to select it, then I go to display selection. I select if I want an element. If I select an element and click, it will select the whole thing. See the difference? If I select an element and I click here, remember these were different on its own before I attached it to this. So if I select an element, you select that whole thing as they were from the beginning. Now if we select only polygon, if we select polygon, it's just a face of it. So I use element and I select this one. I just go back to that edit geometry. When I get to edit geometry, just beside attach, you see detach. Just click on detach. You will see this. He said detach as object 001. If you don't want it to be as object, this is the name, then you rename it to anything you want. Then you click OK. Once I click OK now, then I go back and I click this element so that I will select this. Everything has detached. This is now different. This is now on its own, and this one is now on its own. So for what I want to do, let me attach them for now, then I will detach them whenever I need to. Because if you check from here, you will see that the height of this one, this beam, and the height of this beam are not the same. This is actually higher than this. You see, let me use another view to show you. You see, they all started from the same point, but then this guy became higher than this one. So we'll continue. Now I'll go back here. Now I attach them. Once I attach them, then when I need them to detach, I will detach them. Now I go to attach and then I click on this. I've attached them. Now I click here again to unselect it. Now remember, this is a beam and this beam is up close to the roof, not on the bottom. So what do? I select this beam, can just call it beam, call it front beams, call it front beams, whatever I wish to call them. Now I click anyway, then I select them back. Now I unhide everything. Now I go to front view. Now I'll move them up. Now I can choose, you put this thing on. I want to place them here. I want to place them so that when I shell inwards and get this, or I can place them here and then shell outwards. So I choose to place them here. Now it's time to shell for now. Now let me shell them. Now I can select this and then I go to shell, I go to modify, I go to modifier list and I look for shell. This is shell and I say shell inwards. Remember, outwards should be 0. Shell inwards 500. Everything here is in millimeter. Remember, I already set my unit to be in millimeter. So you see what happened immediately. We shell to 500. Now right click, collapse, right click again, editable poly. Now you have this already. Our design is taking shape. Remember, this is the end result at the end of the day. Now we have shell. Now if you look very well on this plan, look very well on this 3D, you see that this was above this, but then you don't know the exact height with which this went to this, but you just know from here, you just know that this one started immediately after this parapet. So for the meantime, I can just make it to go above this. Then when it's time for my parapet, after drawing this particular parapet, then I will see the height of it, then move this one to that height before I attach this parapet. Now I hope you understand. So how do you do that? You go back here. Remember, we attached these two things, but now I want to detach it. They are no longer together. So you just select it, go to edit geometry, under, make sure you are at modify, then go to edit geometry. This is edit geometry. Then go to selection first. Select what you want to detach. Use element. Don't use this for now, except it's this you want to use now. Let me show you the difference. If I use polygon now and I come and select, see, it is just selecting the part of the polygon that I click. Any part that I click is just selecting that one. But if I use element, once I click here, it is choosing this whole thing because all of them came together. Are you getting me? So this is what I want to use, because if you use poly, you can achieve the same thing, but then you have to select every part of this thing. You have to start selecting every part of it, which is time wasting at the moment. That's not what you need. So you just use this to avoid mistake. Then you select element. Now that we selected this one, then we'll go to edit geometry and we'll detach it. It will just okay. If you don't want to rename it, just say okay. If you want to rename, you rename it. I'll just say okay. Then I'll go back to this and I click so that I will select it. Now you will see that this guy is now on its own and this guy is now on its own. Remember, when you attach two things together, their cursor, this cursor thing works for two of them. Now it is moved at a point, but then when you deselect it, the cursor is now still far. Like if you check now, I've selected this, see where the cursor is. Then I want this cursor to come back to this place. Remember how I told you, you just go here, hierarchy, affect cursor only. If there's any particular point I want it to be, I can just bring it and put it at that point. If there's no exact point I want it to be, I just want it to come close, I'll just go here, say center to object, just say center to object. But then I want it to be here, so I leave it there. Then after you do that, click this hierarchy again so that it will select. Then I bring back every of my listing. Now how do I now change the level of this against this? We'll just do it using the vertex like I've shown you. So you just select this, go to front so that everything will be clear to us. We're at the front view now. I select this guy. Now I'll go to modify, I'll select vertices. Now there's no exact point I want this thing to be, so I just unselect this snap. Now that I have this, I'll select the top parts, the top vertices, not everything. If I select everything and I move, everything will follow me. But then I just want to move the height, and then I select only the top part of it, and then I click, hold and drag, just a normal movement. Now I just move it up regardless anyway. Now after I do my parapet, except if at this point you know the height you want to use for your parapet, then you just take it to that height. For now I don't know the height I want to use for my parapet, so I just drag this up to anywhere. Then when I put my parapet, I can change it back to what I want. Then I click this vertex again to unselect it. If you look, you see now the height of this has changed against this, just like it is here. Now when you have done this one, now there's one thing I normally do so that I don't get confused. Now I want everything I have here to be of the same color. I just want everything to be of the same color. Now how do I do that? We'll go forward a bit. See where 3D Max comes with its materials. 3D Max generally comes with its materials. Then the render engine you're using also comes with its own material. If you look here now, this is Corona material library because I'm using Corona render. Remember, you can use V-Ray, you can use Lumion, anyone, but I'm using Corona. Now if you come here, you see material editor. This is the original one of this is the material editor of 3ds Max, the one it comes with. Now what do? You just click on this and this thing comes up. Are you getting? Now you can select any of this and use it here. This is just your base color for now. When you're done with your drawing, then you can go back to, you can now apply your materials and do whatever you want to do at any particular point in time. Now what do? I select everything. Here. Remember, I've removed my plan and then my levels. I have to put them off. They are not part of, those ones are not part of my whatever. They are just a kind of my benchmark for my whatever I'm doing. So I just click everything here. Now I click on one of these color. I like to use this color. Now I just go here, assign materials to selection. I just click this. Hope you see what this is how you apply materials generally. Now I just click on any one I want. Assuming it's this one I want, I click on it. You come down here, you say apply to a selected object. But I like using this. Then I apply to material selection to this one. That is it. Then you minimize it. So everything is together now, is of the same color at least. Then you're seeing that if you click here, you see that this one is blue. If you click here, you see that it is pink. Click here, so that this one is red. What do? I just select them together as they are. I go here and I select black, because it's easy to trace black lines on ash and it's visible. If you look here, you are seeing it. It's just visible, very visible. So I just leave it like this until I'm done drawing. Now remember, when you want to orbit, make sure that your drawing is within the orbit. So I just press orbit. This is orbit. Then I come inside. I left click and hold while moving. That is how to orbit. I've already shown you how to do this now. That is how to orbit. So I just orbit. So I'll check everything I'm doing. Let me see what I'm doing. Make sure everything is fine. My windows, my doors, everything. We are good to go. Now, what is the next thing to do? If you look at this drawing, we're working on now, you see that the height of this particular place until on top of this wall is different from the height of here to here. That is this beam, the height of this wall now, this place now to this place is the same thing with whichever height we are using for this beam. You see, so the height here also is supposed to come up to this same height. So how do we achieve it? We can do that in different methods, different ways. What do? I just go to top, I hide all, and then I isolate my drawing. Remember, this is where the other one stopped. Then we need to bring here to here up to speed. Then I just use the line command. I come here, I draw this from here to here to here to here to here to here to here, and I say yes. Then I just convert to editable poly. It's just the normal thing that you've been doing. Now I unhide everything. I go here. Now I bring this up here. Are you getting? Then I shell it. I just go to modify. I go to modifier list and I use the shell command. Then I shell it to whatever 600, whatever. I'll adjust it there. Then I right click, collapse, right click, collapse again. Now, first I have to move it down. When you want to move, like I've told you, you use the first click to initiate the way you want to move before you start moving the object. Now I want to move just in Y direction, so I just click here and just do that. Then I come here, I come down and I place this thing here. Remember, if you see, I've put my mouse here now. It is snapping this edge. It is snapping this edge. So once I move from there, that edge, that place becomes my reference point. If I move from here and I'm snapping this edge, this becomes my reference point. If I bring this here, you see. So I want to place here. Now, the next thing I want to do, I'll use vertex now to bring this one down to normal height of this one. Now, I do this thing to see what I've done, and what I did there is okay. It's giving what I wanted to give. So what next do? I can choose to leave it like this. I can choose to attach it. Whatever. It's all left for me. I am the designer. So what I do, I just attach them. Let me just attach this and this together for now. For now, at least. Then later I can do something else if there is need. So if you look now, you see that the height of this one and this are now the same, and then the height of this and the other side are now the same. Remember, if you don't need this line, if at any point you don't want to be seeing these lines, this level, just click here, switch off this edge faces. How do you switch it off? If it's on, just click on it, it will turn off. See, now you're not seeing all those lines again. But then when you need them, you go back to here, you click them and they are on. Then remember, leave this thing at default. Leave this at default. Leave this at default shading. Leave it at default. Unless there's any need when you want to put this to face set, then you take it to face set. But now leave it at default shading. Now, the next thing to do now at this point, the next thing to do now is to do my parapet. Oh, I have a beam here. I have a beam connecting this place to this place and this place. So I go and I effect that. I just go to top. I go to plan and then I isolate my plan. Now, when you come to this plan now, you see, definitely there will be a beam connecting this to this. There's a beam connecting this to this. Because if you see, this line is showing that the parapet went straight. It didn't curve in. You getting me? So you have to create that beam. Now, after I create that beam, now we'll stop it here so that you digest and practice this part before we go back to the next part. Now in our next part, I'll talk about, I'll now do roofing, parapets, and windows and doors. That's what I'll face in the next video, in the part 3 of this video. So for now, let's just finish up with the beam, the other beam that we needed now. Now you see, this is here now. What that we need is here. We have only one line here, but then as you already know, this is 151. This wall is 150. If I want to confirm, I'll go to rectangle, use it and measure. I just look for 2 points that I can see. Now you can see that this length is 750 and then the width of this wall is 150 as shown here. So I just delete this now. So what I can do is I can just go here, use rectangle, go from this point to this point. Now can go from this point to this point. Now if you check, you see that this has gone into where it's not supposed to go in. What I will need to do is very simple. Just first of all, convert this to editable poly. Now I can use the vertex to move it to anywhere I want it to be. You see, so when using this app, your brain should be sharp. You have different ways of doing different things, but once you want to do that thing, you think of the easy, fastest method, fastest thing to do. If I come here and I can choose to, let me delete this. I can choose to use line command now. Can you choose to use line command now? Do this, do this, do this, do this, attach it there, say close, then convert it to editable poly. Now I'll use the vertex command to take this one now, make it equal, make here equal again, make here equal. Now I move it out to the point where I want it. I move it to where I want it now. I want it here and I want this one. I use vertex again. Move this one back to this point. You see, so once you come out at anything, you think fast, do the fastest thing, and then remember, the more you practice this, the more you work on different things, the better for you, the easier it is for you to identify what is easy and what is not easy. Now that I have this, I also want to create one here. I have things to do. I can either choose to move, copy this to this place and rotate it and get what I want, or I can choose to create a entirely new one. But then let me teach you rotate command using it. So I select this. Now that I've selected it, I copy it. Remember how to copy. Hold your shift, then I click and drag to drop anywhere. This is copy. I want to copy it. I don't want to instance it because this and this are not the same height, they're not the same width. So I just copy it. Now I say okay. Now I've copied this. Then I just move it to this point. Remember, know when to off or when to on your snap. Now I don't need that snap again for now. Now how do you rotate? I select this. I go to this rotate command. Now once I'm on my rotate command, then I want to rotate at just one. I want to make this to 180. I want to rotate this at 180 degrees. Are you getting? So I want my rotation to be on 90, 180 to 70. How do I do that? You come here. This is angle snap. Put it on. Right click on it. So you edit. You see that this is angle now. It is on 5%. Now that it's on 5%, if I'm rotating, this will be rotating at 5% until I get whatever I want. But now I want it to just rotate at 90 degrees. I want it to be 90, 180, and I am done. So that I maintain my straight line. If I start going in 5 degrees, I might get to 85 and I wouldn't know. I would think it's 90, then I'll make a mistake. So I just go straight. Make sure that whatever I have is where I want it. This angle. This is the only thing you're changing, please. Now once you do this, then you close. Make sure it's on. Now I rotate. How do I rotate? If you check here, you will see this line, you see this one, you see this one. Now I want to just go in this direction, in this cycle. Now the first or second one will do. What I will just do is I will take my mouse, my cursor on top of that one I want. If you look, you see the cursor will change. Then you left click and hold. Then you just move in that cycle, move in the cycle. Then you're seeing it's moving. The whatever is rotating. I see. So I need it like this. I've rotated this now. Now what else do I need? I want to move now. I go back to move command. I introduce what I want, how I want it to be. Remember, I need my snap to be on at this point because I want this place to get here. So all I need to do is I introduce the direction I want to move. I want to move arbitrarily, so I just use here. I do this. This has shown the app that I want to move all around. Now I can now take my mouse here, snap. See that point is snapping. I just bring it and I place it here. Then I am here already, and I have this. It's okay. If you check and it's not getting to the point you need, you can always extend. Using vertex. Remember. Then I select the vertex. Now that I have this and this are the same, the height are the same. So I want to attach this. I can do it differently, but I just want to attach it so it will be faster for me. Attach this to this. Now I have to shell it. Let's say this is just this is all this internal. This is beams. This is one block. It's just the height of one block, and then the height of one block, as you already know, is 250, 225 plus whatever 250. So I click on this. I go. You see that it's just the same thing we are doing since. Just the same thing you are doing. Just combination of things, and you are good to go. Combination of things, and you are good to go. Just want to make it, let me just make it 300. I want it to be 300, 1 foot. Now I just right click, collapse, right click again, collapse. So now this is up, it's up. So I'll go here, I'll go to right view. I go to right view. I want to be on this side while I move it. So I will go up. I've gone up now. Now I want this end to be here. So all I'll do, I'll put on my snap. Now snap that end and come here. If you see, I am where I am now. I am where I want to be. So what next do you do? You click here and then I attach them. They are the same thing. In case there's anything tomorrow, I will know. So now that I'm here, or maybe, okay, if you check now, you see that I've created everything on this plan up to this point now. I've created everything on this plan up to this point. The sit out is there, the step is there, the pillar is there, these front beams are there, the inside and outside of the rooms are there, the window spaces and the door spaces are there. Now this is where we'll cut the curtain for part 2. In the next video, I will teach you how you create your parapet using the sweep command. That is the easiest thing to do, and how to create your roof using your scripts. There are scripts you need to download for your roof now, and then I will show you how you create and put your windows in place, and then how you make your door. It's better you download door models. You can also download window models, but I prefer to model them here myself. That's why I tell you I love 3ds Max. It's flexible. You can do anything you want to do here as long as you know how to do it. So please subscribe, then turn on your notification button so that you get notified immediately we upload. And then I promise you, by the end of this lesson, you will do this. This drawing you're seeing now is looking so exceptional. I'm telling you, you produce it yourself. This thing here was done with this 3ds Max. First, the plan was generated with AutoCAD, then it was modeled with 3ds Max, and then it was rendered using Corona Renderer. All these views, everything here. So I'll keep you updated. Please subscribe and turn on your notification button. Remain blessed.